Hello, this is Athena Jezik. I will be working today on the model Jessica, and I'm going to be showing you the entire back of the leg and the bottoms of the feet. So we'll get going. Okay. The first thing you want to do is you want to get the entire up to the hip area exposed, and you want to keep that draping very modest. And I guess, can you move your hand out from under? There we go. Okay. I'll be doing this leg first, and then I'll go over to the second leg. You start by applying the oil, and I like to apply it down and move it upward because that's the direction that we need to work anyway with massage. So I always feel it's good to just kind of keep that continuity going. I want to thank a few of our Patreons, KP, Sarah W, and Paige F. Thank you so much for being a Patreon. Okay, we've got that all going. Now I'm going to step to the other side of the table. I've just got it lifted a little bit, so I'm going to start with the toes and work the toe, each little toe, down in the area where it's connecting more into the ball of the foot is where I start and stop with this. Now, the bottom of the foot has a lot more muscle on it than the top of the foot, so you can do some little strokes between the toes here. You'll feel a lot more flesh up the arch. Sometimes this is very sensitive, and sometimes you can feel in the arch of the foot, it'll give you a lot of signals as far as there might be something going on in certain areas of the body. I don't really know how to pick up a lot of that stuff, but it is part of the foot reflexology training, because there are places on the feet that represent the places in the body. And then we'll go around the heel. And it's nice to kind of give the heel a little rub like that. It's where you're just going back and forth around it. There's a lot of times there's a stone bruise that happens. That's because of a tight Achilles, oftentimes. Okay, now I'm going to come up the center of the gastrocnemius. And as I come up, separating it up. You don't want to massage the back of the knee with any kind of pressure. There's a lot of structures there that are very delicate. Then I'm coming up a little more laterally here. And then medial. And then you can do a little bit of the circular motion. And when you do this, you want to feel like you're getting a hold of the muscle, but again, it's done gently. It's not done with a lot of force or a lot of pressure. If you need to put pressure on it, you want to wait until the muscle is inviting you in, and then you can press a little deeper once it's inviting you in. And if you are working with the deep tissue, I highly, highly suggest that you pay attention to that. You can cause injury because the muscle is going to fight back with you. And even though you may not see a bruise on the surface, you can bruise it very easily on the inside. And around that knee, these are some attachments that happen. Go right up to where the soft tissue is. There's a lot of lymph nodes up behind there. There's veins. So I'm just going very, very gently up over that. It's hardly at all, hardly any pressure. And then moving up to the side. This is the iliotibial tract. And I like to take my fist and run up it. That little jump was she's relaxing down. It's going up. I like to do things oftentimes in 3. Then you can go up into the hamstring area, all the way up into this hip crease, and then spread it out to the outside. And then you can do some circular things here on the hamstrings. Up into the hip crease, and then up into, this is actually a hip bone. It's like the greater trochanter area. For the inner thigh, you can just pull up a little bit and get these adductor muscles. But again, there's a inguinal triangle there that you don't want to massage into, so this is just nice big circular sweeps to loosen up those muscles. And then along the iliotibial tract, that is a thicker, it's not really, it's more like a tendon, big tendon. It's thicker and it's stronger and it's not as elastic. So I like to do the thumb iron up and down this part. But I'm using my fingers too, but you're just doing a cross fiber friction there. This can be a very tender area. It supports the body, the legs with the hips, so it's a very important structure. And if there's misalignment of the hips, you'll find that this will take a little bit of a toll on the iliotibial tract or the IT band. And then you can do bigger hand motions. You want to somewhat isolate the muscle groups that you're working on, so you can separate them a little bit, like going up these hamstrings. Feel the different lines of the hamstring muscle, which is why it's important to study those anatomy books. You don't have to memorize what you're doing, just get a visual for it. And then, again, you want to press with more pressure going up. Down to the foot, and then one last sweep up and around. And then very gently, just like more of a feather touch, going down to the foot. Brush off those toes. And then we'll go to the other leg. Cover that side and open up this side. It's important when you're working on people that you keep them comfortable when you're working on them, draped, so they don't have any kind of thought process that they have to do or danger signals that are coming up, that they can just completely trust what's happening and then be able to relax into the work. You'll always have more success if the person is into a deeper state of relaxation. Because physiologically, when you're in relaxation, you are starting to change out of the stress pattern. The stress patterns it actually takes a very big toll on the physiology of the body when people are in stress all the time. Massage will take you so deep. There's ways of getting even deeper into the relaxed state. But again, this is not because of I'm hurting. This is more of a response from being relaxed. Each little toe. There's really no specific order you have to do this in. Just make sure that you do pretty close to the same thing on each side of the body. Oh.
This cord is now kind of getting crunched a little bit.
Oh.
Wonder, can I just kind of hook it maybe like right here? And then once you are, standing again, doing the rest of the leg, we can move it back to your pocket if that's useful.
Oh, this probably will stay hidden. So where do you want me to start from?
You were just saying something about there's no specific order.
Oh, okay.
Something about trying to just like balance the two sides.
Oh, okay. So I'll start from there. Okay. Okay. Get these toes. There's no specific order that you have to do a routine. I think it's a good idea to have some kind of an order, but the main thing is that you make sure that you're doing the same thing on each side. I can remember getting massages from people and they would work one side really good and then the other side was almost ignored, and it was kind of irritating. So I'm going to be going up the center here of the calf and then spreading out to the medial and the lateral, and then do some circular motions coming up. And as you're going into this, you can feel, the body letting you in a little deeper, but it's never an aggressive type of thing. But you also don't want to be so light that you're just like tickling, that kind of just doing nothing. You want to make sure that you are melding into the muscle and then letting the muscle guide you to the pressure. And then again, you want to be careful at the back of the knee. You can go around it. There's attachments through here. And then very lightly over the knee. And up through here. Okay, and now we're going to take my fist and go up the iliotibial tract. And then up through the center, up to that hip area. And then you want to do some circular movements for the adductor, abductor group. And again, you only want to go about this far up because of the iliotibial tract. It's got a lot of lymph nodes in there, a lot of veins, arteries, nerves, so it's just best, if you're not sure about something, just don't dig into it. And then you can do some more circular kind of thing here, adding the whole leg on from the medial outward. And then of course the cross fiber friction along the IT band, which is easier to do since the camera angle on the other side, I was at a funny position, but your hands can just go up and down with thumbs, and then you can also do some circular movements as well. And a little bit more here. Feeling up into the hip area. You can feel some of the bones underneath. there. I'm just going down the whole leg and bringing from the foot, coming up. And then the other foot, and come up again. I do like to do things in threes. I don't always, but I do like to do things in threes. I don't know why. I guess it was part of my training. And then very lightly down and just brush off the toes. And then you can drop the draping and move on to the next place. So I pretty much finished with the massage, and there's some other things that are taught in massage schools where you lift the legs to just kind of get range of motion. So I'm going to show you how to do this. You want to be really careful about the alignment. That's one thing that I notice is lacking in a lot of the courses that massage people take. And you want to lift just slightly, but then you can also feel a little bit of how the joint is working here. And bending it in to get a little stretch, but you want to be very careful bending it in. And you want to be careful of that alignment, toes, knees to hips. It's very important. So we have it there. We're going to move and stretch. Now that her leg is bent a little more, I'm going to lift again. And then pull it back down. And checking the alignment here. There is some alignment stuff that could be worked on. But that sort of a thing has to happen at a subtle level. So that would be how you would do that. You can also, when the leg is up, you can also check the ankle movement and move it around. Now, I've seen people really cram into this too, but again, you want to go very gentle and you want to make sure of the alignment with the toe to the knee and just let that bend. Let the toes drop down and give a nice stretch. Now, not everybody is very flexible here, so you want to be very careful and very mindful how you're doing this, because you start moving bodies around, you got to pay attention to the body that you're working on. Otherwise, you will cause some injury. Might not be very serious, but if you knock some of that stuff out of alignment, it will come back to haunt people. It just might take a few years, but it will come back and haunt them. You can see it in the posture, you can see it in a lot of things. So now going to the other side. So here we go on this leg. You can bend it up very carefully, being mindful of the alignment. When you get it here, you want to basically slip your hand underneath and then lift up. And their legs are kind of heavy, but you don't want to lift very much. You can rotate that hip a little bit if you're being mindful of moving the entire unit and not just trying to wrench it in the hip or wrench the knee out. And then you can take it back down. And then you can bring it back up again. It's good to kind of let it stretch out in between this. Then you can bend the leg in further as far as they feel like they're going. Able to go. I felt a little bit of a pop in the knee. And then you can lift that up. And move it back and forth. And then let it stretch back down. And let that rest for a few seconds. Brush the muscle up. And then you can bring the foot up to work the foot. And here you can work the ankle a little bit differently than when they're lying down. And the foot, now you want to make sure that the toes are aligned with the knee. That knee to toe relationship, and bend it down, holding it here in the ankle area. And then you can pull the toes down for another stretch, very gently. And if you go slow at it, you oftentimes can get a much bigger stretch than people even know they can do. Sometimes if you go super slow at it, but that again is another subtle technique that has to be taught, and you have to learn that to do it properly. So we're going to bend the toes up and down, and I'll just show you a little bit more on the foot here. You can just work it around this way. And if you're going to work the knee side to side, you want to make sure that the hip is following. You don't want to just open it up from the knee. You will set people up for dislocating it if you do that. So it's very, very important to stay mindful of the alignment, mindful of the subtle things going on, and just pay attention to what you're doing. Don't try to be King Kong or anything like that and just show your strength. Just be gentle on the body. The better therapist you're going to be will be the one that respects the body and pays attention to it. So with that, I think we're finished with this part of the massage. So thank you very much. If you like these videos, you can catch more of it on Patreon. And if you are interested in the subtle work and what's going on with the very subtle anatomy, you can go over to my website and find out more there. Thank you so much for viewing, and we'll see you later.